Okay, and we are going to start broadcasting in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hey everyone, welcome in, welcome in. We've got a great session to begin. We're going to give it a few minutes just to allow everyone to join, and then we're going to get kicked off. All right, welcome in. If you're just joining us, we're going to give it another 30 seconds, and then we're going to get started. All right. Well, good afternoon or good morning, depending on your time zone. My name is Frank Gambino. I'm with the Transflo marketing team, and we are super excited to be here today with two of our top industry experts who are going to kick off a brand new series, the Transflo Partnership Series. We're going to discuss a little bit of what this series is going to be about, but today's session, we are joined by Fleetworthy to discuss how to become road ready with Fleetworthy, highlight some of their brands, some of their tools. And before we get too far into it, let me also just go through a little bit of the housekeeping items on today's session. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. And we not only welcome, but we encourage questions. There are two places that you can enter questions. The Q&A is going to be the most organized, but if you do have a question, feel free to drop it in the chat and we'll be monitoring that as well. Just as a reminder, if anyone is watching today, any reference to rates, costs, or marketing strategies presented are not reflective of a specific offer by our presenters today. And with that, let me introduce the two experts that we are joined by. So from the Fleetworthy team, we have Alex Hayter, who is the channel team manager, and then Mr. Don Everhart, who is the head of partnerships and strategy at Transflo. Don, let's discuss what we're talking about today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Frank. So we've got a packed agenda for a pretty short 30-minute session here, but one, we're excited to kick off this series, and then as we unpack things today, we're going to go fairly high level, and that's because we're going to have some follow-on to get into some of the specific things that Fleetworthy works on. So today we're going to hit on the following topics. Who is Fleetworthy? What we're doing together to really enhance that driver experience. And then we'll kind of move more into the insights and some of the real world use cases. And then we'll kind of close out today with, what those areas of opportunity exist in the current market and, what our collective teams are doing to address some of those. So, as Frank said, I'm Don Everhart, head of strategy and partnerships here at Transflo, and I'm joined today by, I'm not allowed to say that I have favorite partners, right? But Fleetworthy is certainly one of them. I'm joined by Alex Hayter, who heads Fleetworthy's channel team. So look forward to a lively discussion today. So Alex, as we kind of kick off here, Transflo's always believed that, the driver experience is where efficiency and compliance really meet. So as we think about the things that Fleetworthy focuses on, can you just kind of walk us through this morning or afternoon, depending on time zone, who is Fleetworthy in general?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm excited to be here and help kick off this partnership series. So Fleetworthy is really built on decades of compliance expertise, and today we're proud to serve as a trusted advisor to fleets nationwide, both large and small. Our values lie in combining smart technology with real human expertise. So with that, we really get to help our customers reduce complexity, streamline operations, stay compliant. And our mission is to deliver tools that give you control over your operations. So you can spend less time managing chaos, more time running smart, safe, and scalable businesses. One of the things, Don, people on the call may be wondering, who is Fleetworthy? You may actually be a customer of ours or know who we are through some of our product brands. So those include Drivewyze, Bestpass, and Haul.
Right. So, and I'll just ask a question of you while we're on this topic. So Fleetworthy has these deep compliance roots, right? So as we think about kind of the shifts in the fleet landscape, and we've been partners for a long time, but we're going deeper now, right?
Mhm.
And so, what are those things that you see in industry that make this partnership as timely as it is? Because I think we're at a unique time, as we dive deeper together.
Yeah, so one of the interesting things that I think it actually speaks volumes to Fleetworthy bringing all these companies together, which is to your point, we've been partnered with Transflo since 2018 in different forms and fashions through some of the companies that Fleetworthy has brought together. So I think that says it right there that
Hmm.
Transflo, you've seen with your customers, there's a need in the market for these specific solutions. You're going out and partnering due to customer need. And
Hmm.
Fleetworthy saw that same need in the market and then has started acquiring these companies to build one powerhouse company, Fleetworthy, which creates a more unified one ecosystem so that we can partner with companies like you and bring all this value to the customers.
Yeah. So, and I think that's where, Transfer really comes in, as we look at this. We've always focused on turning the complex into the simple, especially when it comes to the driver experience. And so having something that works seamlessly for the driver and fleet and not, having to jump from one app to the other and some of that stuff. So let's kind of dive in to the driver experience. Um,
I think before we get to that, if we could just
oh
hop
yeah.
to the product timeline, just so you can see.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, no worries. I
Yeah.
think this gives everybody on the call a nice visual to see like again, who is Fleetworthy and what are all
Mm-hmm.
the product brands and the companies that have created this powerhouse. So you
Mm-hmm.
can see, starting with Bestpass on the tolling side, Fleetworthy, Drivewyze for waste station bypass, Commerce Logic, which offers near real-time toll reconciliation, and Haul, which is a compliance solution. So again, these milestones reflect our commitment to solving these real world problems with practical and modern tools. And yeah, I think it's really exciting to now just be partnered with Transflo as Fleetworthy and bring all these valuable products to the customers.
Yeah, it's interesting because as you look at the acquisitions that you guys have made over time, right? Like there is some overlap in this, but it's finding as I view it from my side and as I'm advocating on behalf of our customer base, I see it as taking two, like, where you do have the overlap, you're taking two or three companies where there's a good core offering and they each have their values, but then when you bring them together, you get outsized value. So, as you guys continue to go down this path, how do you see some of these building upon each other?
Yeah, so it's definitely a long-term goal of ours. Today, we've built one ecosystem.
Hmm.
Tomorrow, we want one more integrated one ecosystem, and that's with our partners as well. So not only are we integrating all these companies into one platform, but we want to continue to build with Transflow so that we can create that driver and fleet experience in one ecosystem.
Yeah. And I think I was a little anxious to get to that part. So I appreciate you slowing me down to come back to the how we got here, because I think that's wildly important.
Yeah.
But you're touching on the important thing, and let's just bring it down to the driver level, right? And the driver experience. Um, so and if we can go ahead and advance to our next slide here. Yeah. So as we talk about why and the driver experience, right? What's really the day in the life improvements when fleets use our combined solutions? We talked a little bit about that single pane of glass or driving towards a unified platform and not wanting people jumping around. But, what's the true customer benefit kind of as Fleetworthy views it?
Yeah, so today, one of the most integrated products that we have with Transflo is our Drivewyze product line.
Hmm.
So that's directly in the Transflo mobile app. And what that offers is the way station bypass and in-cab proactive safety alerts. The drivers don't have to leave the mobile app to leverage that service. And
Right.
if they're using your hours of service, it actually automatically starts as soon as they log in at the start of the day. So the driver doesn't even have to do anything. They just get in, start their day, and when they're hitting, whether it's a way station or one of our geofences for the safety alerts, it just takes over the screen and then goes back in the background.
Yeah, and I think for us at Translo, one thing that, and we've talked about this for decades, right, as we've seen the digital transformation in this space, is about app fatigue for the
Mm,
driver, right?
yeah.
And being the in-cab and mobile solution at Translo, we want to make sure that those partners that are providing that outsized value to the driver base are being pulled in a meaningful way. So as we kind of expand and we unpack some of the other brands, we can talk to the industry a little bit more about how deeply we're going to integrate in some of the other work that we're doing. Because with that app fatigue, it really comes down to really one workflow, fewer logins. But the important part is that that safer, less distracted cab experience, right? Like that's one of the primary retention pieces, and we'll talk about this a little bit later on, is making things simple for the driver, but then also a ton safer. And a lot of people probably don't think in terms of like the safety of just an integration, for example. But it's one less thing that someone has to like reach over and hit a tablet for, and driving that decisioning right in front of them, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And
so
and even going back to like a higher level of why
Mhm.
Fleetworthy and Transflo too, not just specifically within the app, but what it's unifying is now your customers can take advantage of all of the services, and they can do that by having conversations with Transflo. They don't have to go out and talk to 7 different companies to understand what the value is, understand what the pain points are that we're solving. They're just calling Transflo and they can find out about all of the solutions under the Fleetworthy brand.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, Alex, and I didn't prep you for this one, so I'm gonna hit you a little bit out of left field. But can you share a story where, bypass or tolling kind of paired with the compliance tools and Transflow, um, changed how a driver kind of saw their job, or like the benefits that do you guys have any use cases where you've kind of heard that from them to say, hey, like, because of this, I've had this experience. I know I've heard some, right, where it's like, hey, you guys make it seamless. I don't have to worry about it. But do you have anything that you would share with the folks that are watching today?
Yeah, I would share both hall compliance and Drivewyze bypass and safety alerts. They've become really important for drivers. Once drivers have those services, they can't really live without them. On the hall compliance side, it's tracking onboarding and improving driver onboarding and compliance. And then on the bypass side, we're helping keep them on the road so they can keep driving with the bypasses and in-cab safety alerts. We've actually done studies in the past where we've asked drivers to list like how important are certain tools or benefits at a company, and they listed the bypass service as like top 5. That's how important it was, like right after pay and vacation time. So from a fleet admin perspective, driver retention can be increased by using these tools within your operations.
Okay. Yeah. And I know we have some more business insights and kind of use cases here. And this is one where you'll obviously kind of hit on the first three here as we go around the horn. And but do you mind walking us through, walk us through some of those, specifics about each tool that you bring to the table?
Yeah, so on the Drivewyze side, with the wasting by station bypass and in-cab safety alerts, that's less downtime and safer driving. And again, those things automatically work. They're embedded in Transflo Mobile. And then on our Bestpass product line, this is a single toll solution, nationwide and regional. So less admin, faster routes. And on the haul side, this is our compliance and onboarding tools. So faster hiring, easier driver management. And the result is just safer, more empowered drivers.
Yeah, and hey, it's the same for us at Transflo, right? Those digital workflows, integrating telematics, integrating our partners, uh, scanning is a huge part of what we do. Like we've made massive investments over time because nothing's more frustrating than being in like a basic scan app and having to rescan 5 and 6 times. So again, all of this drives back to that driver experience. For hey, we want the driver to spend their time doing the thing that makes them money, right?
Yeah.
Driving, not having to go through 16 different screens or flip back and forth to accomplish what they need to do.
Or
So
stop or get delayed. Yeah,
yeah,
it's all reduced of those things.
and again, the distraction aspect, right? I think that is, we talk about distracted driving, but that's one of the leading causes of crashes, right? And so anything we can do there to keep the drivers focused on the road, we want to make sure that we're drilling into pretty deeply. So,
Yeah.
uh,
And it's not just the driver side, there's the whole other side, which is beyond the driver, and that's the back office teams that power the team, power the drivers and their fleets.
absolutely. So we talked through some of the business insights, and so it's one thing, we talk a lot about analytics. We talk about actionable insights as an industry. But when you think about a fleet and you think about the day in the life of the driver and then you go into the walls, right? And we're talking about all of the departments that have to cover off on these different aspects. And safety may be reviewing, driving behavior, and you've got your compliance team for driver compliance. You've got, you're trying to control your toll cost, right? It's just a lot, right? So I think this is one of the interesting ones where, the unified insights become the game changer for a company that's working with this tool set. So do you have kind of a use case where the compliance automation or toll data like actually saves serious time and money for one of your clients because they could get to these insights that maybe otherwise just weren't seen?
Yeah, and I think we have some use cases on the next slide, and we can dig into like the
Yeah.
stats there. So with our compliance, there's weeks saved in admin time.
Mm,
Our proactive safety alerts reducing roadside incidents by 29%. That's a huge percentage. And that is just with the in-cab safety alerts that we provide. We're also reducing seat time loss with rapid
mhm.
driver onboarding.
Yeah. Yeah, and sorry for kind of jumping back and forth between these two. And if we can go back to the prior slide for just a second on where some of those insights come into play. Do you want to walk us through some of that reporting? Like, again, I think it lands with the use cases. It's one thing for us to say, hey, you've got this reporting, but if you can kind of unpack the different areas that kind of drove those use cases.
Yeah, for sure. So I think with each of the products here that we're highlighting, and again, we're gonna dig into this in the following series. We're gonna get
Yeah.
really into the nitty-gritties of each one of these products to go over what reporting you get, what insights you get. But I think the theme across all of the products here, including Transflo, is that we're not just providing raw data back to fleets, we're giving them analytics, we're giving them reporting that's highlighting whether it be driver behavior, whether it be toll spend and violations, whether it be driver compliance, so that they're doing less time on digging through paperwork and more time on being able to take actionable change with the insights that we're giving them.
Yeah, and um, as we think about, the biggest feedback that we hear is, fewer vendors, fewer systems, and more confidence in decision making, right? So when we can pull these back in a unified way, especially with how we pull everything together, it just makes it easier for fleets to move faster and take action on those insights as quickly as possible. So, all right, we'll go ahead and advance to uh, we'll go beyond this onto our market challenges. So, it's interesting. I feel like I've been saying this for a long time now, but fleets are battling costs, regulations, and retention. Um, as you look at current market opportunity today, where do you see the biggest opportunity for fleets to get ahead?
So, so I really think it's with utilizing tools. You have to have the right tools in place to get ahead.
Right.
And the market is challenging today, but it is full of opportunity for those who adapt. So it's about staying on top of what's available in the market, what are the recognizing the pain points that your fleets are having, and finding the right tools through Transflo, through Fleetworthy to solve those problems.
Yeah.
Regulations are shifting, like you said, drivers are harder to keep. We have the data and the ROI and the metrics with all of the Transflo Fleetworthy solutions to help fleets with these problems and keep their drivers, have a smarter back office, have stronger compliance, have safer drivers. And
Yeah.
it's just about adapting to change.
Yeah, you touched on a thing there, and it's something that we hear constantly. Driver retention is directly tied to the tools that you give them, right?
Mhm.
And so if you can simplify their day, it's simple, they stay longer, right? And I think that's where this partnership, and especially as we, unpack some of the specifics around each of the individual brands and future series, that's where this partnership really shines, in my
Yeah.
mind. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, and I know we're getting close. Sorry, we have this one more this slide here, and then we're getting close to time. So I do want to leave a couple of minutes for audience Q&A here at the end. But um, you
Yeah, and
want
I think what this slide is really just wrapping it up to say, like, it
Mhm.
all comes down to building with the right foundation. And that's why we're partnered. That's why we're
Yeah,
here. We're unifying leading technologies, one ecosystem. We're going to continue to be more integrated for our shared customers as we continue to grow in this partnership and help them scale to meet
yeah.
future fleet needs.
Yeah, I love that. So I think of this in terms of to help them meet those needs to scale, we have to scale our
Yeah,
relationship and partnership, So, that's going to be a cornerstone of what we do here. And love working with the Fleetworthy team. So, hey, I think, we'll kind of advance here and open for audience Q&A here at the end. If Frank, you want to go ahead and moderate that and see if we have anything that we can bring forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So the first question we have is, how can I find out more information about hall compliance? And Alex, I'm going to pass this over to you as the expert.
Yeah, sure. So that's a great, I think, segue into inviting everybody to keep an eye out for the future invitations of this partner series. So we're going to have our hall compliance subject matter expert come on and dig into all things hall compliance. So that invitation will come from Transflo, just as you received this one today. If you have immediate questions or needs, on the next slide, you'll see contact information for Transflo, so you can reach directly out to them.
Mm-hmm.
If you know who your account manager is at Transflo, just give them a call and we can answer those specific questions right away. But again, we'll have that really deep dive into the hall compliance in a later webinar series.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then I see one, how are bypasses delivered? I'm assuming that's in reference to waste station bypasses.
Yeah, I can take that one. So I think I mentioned earlier in the presentation, our waste station bypass and in-cab safety alerts are integrated and directly embedded in the Transflo mobile app. So drivers are just starting their day as they normally would, and that Drivewyze service is going to be running through the mobile Transflo Mobile Plus app. And as soon as they hit, whether it's a waste station or one of our geofences, they'll get those alerts surfaced on that in-cab device.
Perfect. And I do see a question about reaching out for pricing. So I think we kind of answered that already. We'll have some contact details actually, and I can pull that up right now. So you can reach out, contact@transflo.com. I know we're just at time now, but maybe a few minutes before. If there's any other questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and of course we'll answer them. And I do want to touch on, in that moment, this is the beginning of a very comprehensive series. So of course, with Fleetworthy being such a strategic brand, we're going to happily welcome you guys back in additional sessions to deep dive into each of the sub brands under that Fleetworthy name. And as well, other partners that we're working with, such as Geotab and a few others. So the next series is likely to be in about a month, and we hope that everyone will join us. If there's no other questions, we don't see any. I do want to personally thank you, Alex and Don, for both joining today's session and speaking so eloquently on the solutions and how we're bringing together different ecosystems of technology.
You're too kind, Frank. We appreciate you and appreciate you helping out here. Alex, great talking to you today. I know I get to talk to you, several times a week. And so for those that do want additional information, we do have the contact@transflo.com for prospective clients. If you're an existing client, you can reach out to either your salesperson or your CSM, and they'll be happy to assist. They're all very well aware of how to position these products and share information with you. So appreciate everyone's attendance today, and Alex, look forward to future conversations.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.